Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Fat Jockey 2022 Festival preview. How exciting! Joined by Jono and Paul as usual, and with a little bit of a sore head that we'll get into when we get to the Friday preview. Owner of Surprise Package, Paul Leech. Hello.
Hey everyone.
So let's get straight into it. We waffle on, so we'll try and kick straight on. We're going to put up selections for day one, each race, all of us, and we'll do 4 podcasts tonight and get them out as soon as we can so everyone can enjoy them. Look forward to seeing everyone there over the next few days. So, who wants to kick us off on the Supreme Novice Hurdle?
Who wants to say, I would have been on Sir Gerard, you mean?
No one's allowed to mention Sir Gerard.
We might as well do it right up front, mightn't we? Well, I think looking at that race now, we finally get to make a selection. I would have been on him. I'm less keen on Dysart Dynamo. Constitution Hill for me, I think. He'd be my choice. And in fact, I'm happy to go 1, 2, 3 with that. I think he'll win. I actually prefer Kilcrew of Willis. Now he's back to something like his best. And I think John Bond will be the one that follows the man.
Johnny?
I like it. Yeah, I find it hard actually to be too confident in this, really. I think a lot of the horses have been beating fields that haven't been particularly great. I'm not sure about Kilcrew. Obviously, all the vibes are that he's back to his best. But I think it's heavily on his bumper form that puts him as short as he is. I'd probably slightly lean to Dysart Dynamo. Although the vibes, you haven't really heard much about him for a while. Preview circuit's been quite quiet with him. But yeah, it's a very kind of tentative selection for me. I can kind of make a case for all of them. I think they've all got to kind of prove it against decent opposition. But yeah, kind of Dysart Dynamo would be my slight preference between those at the head of the market.
Fair enough. I think if I was starting fresh now, just because the 2 potential superstars, Dysart Dynamo and Constitution Hill, there's not enough solid form to really side with either of them over the other. I've never really liked John Bonnet, his price. Same with Kilcrew now, the price is just too short. So the one I would be backing now is Mighty Potter each way. At 8-1, it's taken a little bit of a punt that the Irish novices are ahead, and therefore meaning he'd be sort of ahead of Constitution Hill and John Bunn. But he's a Grade 1 winner, which I don't think we should ignore. He was a lucky first time out as well. So you'd mark him up a little bit for that. Gordon Elliott's won the race before. I've seen a couple of previews, people saying you need like a Mullins or Henderson horse, which is a bizarre stat to me. Like I think Gordon Elliott might have an absolutely massive day. So I think he's a little bit overlooked, and I think you get 8-1, or I think a little bit shorter with 4 or 5 places on the each way extra. So I would go with him and just hope that the Irish are ahead.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I would have liked to see some Gerhard in this race. With him out, I think of the potential superstars, I'll go with Constitution Hill. I think his style of racing will really suit the track. I could see him coming around after the second last and sort of whizzing up to the last and just going on to win from there. So that's my image of what's going to happen, and I think that's the way I'm going to stay.
Yep, that's exactly as I say it, Paul. Exactly as I say it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will be shocked if Constitution Hill absolutely sluices up, will they? To be fair, it's just at the price. I think he's drifted back to 5-2, hasn't he?
Yeah, so
if he touches 3-1, then you start getting a bit excited, perhaps. But yeah, so that's the Supreme done. Easy. Arkle, who wants to kick off on the Arkle?
I keep going round and round in circles on the Arkle. I really cannot get a good handle on it. I'm going to go back to the Dublin Racing Festival tip and figure out why I would change from Riviere d'Etel. I know it finished second, but I think if Anton landed on top of the last, he would have won that. I think the uphill finish will benefit her and once as long as she jumps well, I think which she normally is, then she's the one I would go with. So Riviere Detel.
Yeah, she's the one. I mean, she's the one I was going to put up when I did this yesterday, 4-1. I think that run behind Fernie Hollow, I know she was getting £9, but she was only a length and a half behind, and she's improving still as well. People, I think, were going a bit over the top with Fernie Hollow, saying that it would be odds on and stuff for this, when really the form ties in quite closely. But it's because of that, the form tying in quite closely with Blue Lord. He's now 4-1 as well, and I just like. I would be a scumbag and I would back Blue Lord 4-1 each way and Riviere Detel 4-1 each way, both 4 places. And I just hope one of them won and that form stood up. But Blue Lord at 4-1's a way bigger price than I thought he would be. And Riviere Detel is the one I was going to put up at 4-1. So I think you can be a little bit too clever and try, because there's no standout horse. People are looking for things out of the woodwork, like Paul will probably put up Core Sublime again, who's crap. People are talking about Magic Days. Gavin Acco's crap. Like, they're just crap horses. So I'll stick with the Grade 1 Dublin Racing Festival form. Yeah, I'd scumbag those two. 4-1 each way, both.
Well, look, I'll put up the crap Core Sublime at 16-1 each way in a race where, you know, I actually want to be against the head of the market. I'm actually not keen on Riviere Detel. She jumps right-handed. I don't think a fast run Arkle around Cheltenham is ideal for her. I think it's something, as she goes out in trip, she'll get away with, but I think she won't get away with it in this race. So at the head of the market, she's the one that I'm least keen on. The sort of line between Core Sublime and Blue Lord and Edmondstone is almost the same. Core Sublime as a hurdler was he was a graded hurdler, whereas Edmondstone was a handicapper. So I believe the base ability is greater in Core Sublime. He also has more experience. And with Blue Lord, you know, I think you know, it's kind of, I'm not particularly keen on his jumping, if I'm really honest. You know, he was going to be second best to Appreciated in last year's Supreme. You can't really say that's poor form, but it was a poor Supreme, and he was going to be beaten a long way. And I come back to Core Sublime when you talk about that sort of line of Fernie Hollow, and I look at that first race where Fernie Hollow beat Core Sublime 4 lengths on quicker ground. And I think he's massively overpriced at 16-1. And when I have enough doubt about, you know, a bunch of horses that are all priced around 3-1, 4-1, 16-1, about him will do me. I do respect Oton Colour and Saint Sam. Probably Oton Colour could be anything. I think Saint Sam actually could be the best of Willys, actually. So there we go.
Yep, a bit of a mess of a race for me. I would probably, go back to the Dublin Racing Festival form as well. I think Blue Lord I would have been against, but I think, like you said, Kev, 4-1, I'm surprised at that price. I think my initial reaction after the race was Riviere Detel. I mean, she would have won without the mistake. You kind of think, well, why would you back Blue Lords following that? But obviously Riviere Detel had the experience edge, and I think it's worth noting the Blue Lord, his second run, first run was really good. Second run is a joke of a race. I think they jumped half the fences. So I think his progression will probably see him finish in front of Riviere Detel. So yeah, he would, again, not a strong vote, but I probably could be going for him each way. I like Core Sublime, and obviously the first his first one where he's only 4 lengths behind Fernie Hollow definitely brings him into it. Slightly concerned that he was only 15 lengths behind Riviere Detel and Fernie Hollow at Christmas, when Fernie Hollow clearly progressed. I'd love to see him do well. Rachel Blackmore is a great jockey booking, but I think the best he could probably do is a place. So So yeah, Blue Lord each way was the main pick, and Courseblene probably is a bigger each way fancy.
You can get 17 to 2, 6 places for Courseblene, which is fair enough.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Brill. Any more thoughts on the Arkle? No. So, Ultimate. Paul, we're going to come to you last for this one. I will kick us off. So, I backed a couple in this today. Again, messing around with the extra places and 10 places with the each way extra from 365. So, I backed Vintage Clouds earlier today, 20 to 1, 7 places, or boosted to 22 to 1. Because Frodon's in the race, Vintage Clouds is running off a lower weight than he ran off last year. So, although he's £1 worse off, he's going to be running round. We know he can run around carrying a bigger weight than he's going to be carrying, and I just don't think there are going to be 7 horses that are better or can reach that level or are as well in as Vintage Clouds. So I've backed him 7 places, 22 to 1, and then he's 13 to 1, 10 places, and as long as he completes, there's just no chance there are 10 horses better than Vintage Clouds. That's an absolute knocking good bet, in my opinion. The reason I was looking at that, and I've put this up earlier today, though, was Frodon at 10 to 1. The exact same thing. Like, he's just the best horse in the race without any doubt. He's a Ryanair winner. He's got grade winning form this season. He's been given a chance by the handicapper now. Is he weighted well enough to win it? Possibly not. But 10 places, 10 to 1 is just you get your money back and more. Well, you double your money almost, or a bit better than. A bit better than your money back if he places, and it just gives you a free shot at him just going out in front making all, which wouldn't be the most ridiculous thing ever. I'd got the horse wrong plenty of times before, and he'll probably prove me wrong and finish 11th this year, but those are the 2 that I put up there. I did also put up something else today in the British only market that's worth looking at on Sky, but that price has gone now, and someone else is going to talk about the horse later, so I will leave it as the price isn't there.
Okay, so I don't know if it's me. It won't be me because you don't know what I'm going to say. So I have always felt that so it's sort of 3 in this race. I sort of choose in between. I've always felt that Ben Dundee had a good race in him one day, although I'd probably go to my grave saying that, so I'm going to pass him over one more time.
He is a good horse.
Then Korat Rambler is the other one I was sort of been toying with to put in. Well, I've netted out at a horse I wouldn't normally go for, £4 out of the handicap. But I'm a little bit confused about its sort of campaign in a sense. So Jericho Rock, bottom one, 24, number 24, won twice. The twice he's won has been over 2 miles. Now he's been running over 3 mile, 2 furlong, 3.5 mile, 5 furlongs and whatever. I think this distance will actually play to his strengths, and he's got a little bit of speed, hopefully combined with the stamina. Despite being £4 out of the handicap and despite being ridden by Tom Scudamore, who's not my favourite jockey, I have gone against all my instincts and going for him.
I think Tom Scood rides 3 miles around Cheltenham really well, by the way, Paul.
That's true enough, and particularly with that trainer who like to target this race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would two of the which Kev touched on. Vintage Clouds, just you have to back him. This is his race. I think he's a massive price. I'm surprised. Usually he doesn't really show much, but his last run he came second, was a lot better than what he did last time. Second run from his wind up. He's 12 years old, but you would have said 11 years old last season would have put an end to his chances. So yeah, I think if you're not backing him each way, I think you're mad. Frodon, you kind of have to look at. Carrying 11-12 is no bother for him. He's won off top weight around Cheltenham twice, and that run at Down Royal to start the season. If he can replicate that, again, I think each way he's got a big shout. But my win selection would be Fleur, Gordon Elliott. Obviously, many will be against the Irish in this race. Although I've kind of said many times that generally their entries are fairly low. I think 2 and 3 over the last couple of years. So I think it's a bit of a skewed stat. Finished third in the Martin Pipe last year, behind Langadang and Galopin de Champs. The Martin Pipe consistently throws up horses coming back the next year, not only over fences, over hurdles as well, like the Sire de Burley, but the record of chasers coming into it off the back of the Martin Pipe is really good, actually. Happy Go Lucky last year was, I think, 4th in the Martin Pipe, came 2nd in this race. Disco Rama placed in the Martin Pipe, came 2nd in the National Hunt Chase the following year. Tully East, 4th in the Martin Pipe, won the Novice Handicap Chase. Don Poli obviously won and then won the RSA. So it's a really nice race, actually, as a stepping stone. Obviously for kind of stamina laden horses and over fences in particular. So I really like that kind of profile. And yeah, I think he's on the up. I think the handicap has given him a chance. Obviously, he's increased his rating, but Jordan Gainford takes off 3. And yeah, he's in good form. Won at Fairyhouse in January, 3rd in the national trial in last month. So yeah, I think there's a lot to like about him.
But I've got to say that, I think they are all solid place selections that you guys have chosen. But, I prefer to give you the winner of this one, actually. So anyway, there's a few that I'm not so sweet on at the head of the market. I'm not keen on Death Duty, if I'm already honest. I think a 3.5 mile chase in heavy in mid-February is just terrible prep for this race. And he's been over a couple of times before as a well-touted and well-backed horse, and he's just not performed. And whether that's because he doesn't act the course or whether he doesn't travel well, I don't know. But the kind of price, single-figure price of that here, I'd have to be against him. Noble Yates, I'm not so keen on. I know the Whaley Cones have bought him as a Grand National horse, actually. And I'm not going to say here that Sam Whaley Cones a poor jockey, because he's not. He's obviously a good jockey, but he's not one of the top pros. And I'm not convinced that Noble Yates is particularly well handicapped either, if I'm really honest. And I think he is also short on based on reputation rather than what he's actually done. A horse like Does He Know, and apologies guys, this one was going to take a few more minutes than the others for me. A horse like Does He Know, he's the sort that could be classy enough off 152. It's happened before, and Tom Patu's done it off 155, and Beware the Bear's done it off 151. So, he's got lots of good course form, which is worth a few pounds against a lot of the rest. But he's also a bit of a head case. He can put in some strange jumps at times and gets himself a bit worked up. He's not a big festival horse for me. I think fullback's worth considering. I'm just going to add a couple to the ones that you've mentioned, fullback and Fantastic Ass. Fullback from its Hennessy form, he's improved over the season, still looks unexposed, and I think he could place. And Fantastic Ass has got some course form this season. He's an unexposed novice, he's got a nice profile actually for the race. So, he would be on my mind, should we say. So that'd be the group of horses, along with the ones that you guys have mentioned. But there's one horse that I'm particularly sweet on, and I've been chipping away at for about 10 days now. And I've been reluctant to put him up as Naiad 2, but he kind of is for me, shall we say. Obviously, when Nick Williams had a complete brain aberration and completely messed up Galahad Quest this season, and I've sort of gone public with that, then I feel a bit bad about putting up a Naiad 2. So I'm not going whole hog here, but I am heavily invested in this horse to similar stakes now, and I will be continuing to do so all the way through to the off, certainly all the way down to single figure prices. So I've been backing T Clipper from 33 to 1 down, and I've had some fairly sizable bets on him today. Once I've seen the final decks, and obviously with extra places as well now. And as soon as I'm saying this, people will be saying, but he doesn't meet the best racing post rating stat over 3 miles. I don't care. He's a stowaway. He needs 3 miles. He runs as though he needs 3 miles. He's that kind of horse. He'll improve the trip. He's already put a 153 RPR up as a novice chaser over 2.5. So not what I believe his optimum trip to be. And that was at Chepstow, which is a good comparative track for me. Using Jono's line of Fleur, finishing third. Was he third or fourth? Third or fourth in the Martin Pipe. T Clipper finished third in the Coral Cup last season. And I keep my own ratings, as you guys know, and I had his run £5 ahead of Fleur's equivalent run in the Martin Pipe. He was hampered after he jumped the last. He finished, obviously, we know Heaven Help Us was a ridiculously well-handicapped horse. He finished just behind Craig Nesh, which was a horse that a lot of people thought was going to make up into an RSA horse this season. He gave Craig Nesh weight in the Coral Cup as well. So in my mind, certainly literally the weights, he finished upsides Craig Nesh. Without that mistake, being hampered after the last, then I would have had him ahead of Craig Nesh. He'll absolutely love the ground. He's massively overpriced. And interestingly, he had the wind up in January. He's been kept fresh and headgear's gone on for the first time. My view is he's running off 145. I think he could be as high as a 160 horse, certainly high 150s as a bottom line for him. So as I say, I've already backed him across on my accounts. I'll be topping it further as the next couple of days go on. And I am really, really, really sweet on him.
Excellent. What price do you think he will get down to? Paul?
I think he'll possibly be 10s or shorter. I think we'll see him at single figures by the time they go off. Once people latch onto him and understand his profile, I think he will go off short.
So what you're telling me is this 13 to 1 10 places.
Great.
Is what I need to be taking. It's all about the 10 places.
You don't even need 10 places on.
Yeah, I was just about to say you don't need 10 places though, but I do like those kind of bets after.
Great stuff. Perfect. Okay. Brilliant. So on to the feature of day one, Champion Hurdle. Does anyone think Honeysuckle won't win?
No. Move on. Honeysuckle wins. Nope. Just watch and enjoy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is the motivate. I mean, I've always been a big Appreciated fan. How can you not be a Honeysuckle fan as well? And so I'm just hoping it's going to be a bit of a race. I was slightly concerned with how Honeysuckle finished out her race at the Dublin Racing Festival. She finished pretty tired, but I think Rachel went on a little bit too quickly and made a move, and is a long last half furlong for the horse at the Dublin Racing Festival, I thought. But she still won it well enough. She was always going to win it. I think that will be the case. I just think, Willie Mullins is probably just sitting there thinking, wouldn't it be incredible to prove just how brilliant I am, that I can bring Appreciated back to beat Honeysuckle first time out? So I just see the motivation there. Not saying it's going to come to fruition, but I've always been a big Appreciated fan. I think I might just watch this race because I find it somewhat fascinating.
Yeah, it does. It's added a lot of intrigue to the race, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did the notes for this, and I put down I absolutely adore Appreciated. I loved him all last season. Thought he'd be the best novice chaser this season. I absolutely love him, and I backed him as soon as they said he was going over hurdles. But everyone that's watching this is pretty much going to be on the forum. They'll have already seen that. And he's 4 to 1 now, and at 4 to 1, I'd just be putting it up to be contrary, and that's it. It's just 4 to 1 is taken all the juice out of how magical it would be if it happened, and it's just too short to put up. It'd just be putting it up for the sake of it. But I will definitely be cheering him on if he does it, and I just think he's a superstar. But I still wouldn't tip it.
What I would say is, for me, she wins. I'm not saying she isn't going to win, but Rachel makes her move. I know you said maybe she went slightly early last time. She makes a move kind of around the bend. I don't certainly anyone bar appreciate it. I don't think we'll be able to match her. But I think if something can match her at that point, I think if someone's level as they straighten out, I think she could be beaten. And so if appreciate it is there at that point, I think it's a very interesting race. But I do think Honeysuckle will win. I think Honeysuckle will have enough that she will put the distance away at that point. And have the race won.
Just a question for you guys, because something has to make the pace in this race, doesn't it? And there's not So Sleepy in there, I suppose, which is probably going to go off like the clappers, but everybody will ignore it. So they don't necessarily have to go overly quick in this race. And it's almost the horse that's travelling in second that makes the pace for the real race. And I'm not sure where the pace is coming from. And I think the one thing that wouldn't suit her, in actual fact, is a slowly run Champion Hurdle. So that's what I think could make her vulnerable. The flip side of that is if you get a really fast run Champion Hurdle, you tend to find everybody's following the pace, and you could have a rag like Glory and Fortune just picking up a place at 80-1. He's actually worth just a very small bet to pick up a place.
Do you think they'll probably pop Appreciate it in there, won't they? Let him go. He'll just go out as fast as he can, as comfortably as he can, because I'm pretty sure he'll stay further anyway. And if Honeysuckle comes and picks him, like Not So Sleepy goes off in front, Appreciate it ignores him and just makes his own running. And if Honeysuckle's good enough, she'll come past him.
It's hard to know, isn't it? Because you think if they go a good pace, it suits her best. All her best races, we know she stays. And all her best races when it's been a proper test. When they've been a bit slower, they're the ones that she's looked a little flatter up, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd probably suit Appreciate it best as well, though.
Yeah, potentially. But if you're gonna try and get her beat, and you've got more than one horse in the race, then don't you want to try and fiddle with the pace? That's the.
I think they'll probably run him on merit because he's the only unknown in the race, so they'll run him to his best strength, because he's not like a horse I think that has a ludicrous turn of foot anyway. Like, I mean, let's face it, I backed him for the RSA this year before last year's festival. So if you win the Champion Hurdle, that's going to be pretty bittersweet for me. But yeah, I think I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a lot longer.
He's not got that change of gear, that sudden injection, as he Appreciate it. He'll
Don't think people.
No, but I do think he's a horse who could somewhat control the pace, and he has won a couple of races both bumpers and over hurdles by doing exactly that, and then just clicking into the next gear. And I agree, he hasn't got a lightning change of pace, but he just ramps it up. And if he finds the right time to do that, you never know, steal a couple of lengths at the right time, it could make a big difference.
Yeah, he's more a Shaken type horse, isn't he? The way that they ride him, he just puts the pressure on mid-race and just gets them off the bridle. Which is why I think the pressure.
I think could be I think it could be really interesting if he can be with Honeysuckle when she makes that move around the bend. That I think there's a race on them. But she wins.
But we still think she wins.
From one mare winning then to definitely a mare winning in the next race, who do you fancy in that?
Well, for me, you've got to respect, the top of the market there, haven't you? And I know, I think Jono's certainly going to put Burning Victory up, and she's definitely improved massively. Her jumping's improved significantly. So you've got to respect her. Story on Tell Me Something Girl. I probably prefer Tell Me Something Girl of those three, but I kind of want to be against them now. If I was betting today, I'd be looking to be against them. And I mentioned on a previous podcast, Echoes in Rain, now she settles. And while she hasn't stepped up to 2.5 miles yet, she's bred to do that comfortably. She's joint top on official ratings and on Racing Post ratings. To say, I think she'll benefit from the step and trip on the lightly fast pace. And if she does, I think she wins. Can't help us. I think it's still an each way price, as one I put up a long time ago, the bigger prices, but I still think she's a solid each way play. She's running over the exact same course and distance as the Coral Cup, and she's put in a great performance there. So she's gonna run a big race. But it is quite a deep mares race. There's no out and out superstar, I don't think, but it is a deep race.
Yeah,
just quickly on. Sorry, Kev. Just quickly on Heaven Help Us. She hasn't got cheek pieces, has she? Which I thought was surprising.
I hadn't noticed actually.
No,
I'm surprised.
Unless I've missed it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they haven't.
No,
I assumed.
No, I hadn't noticed. I'd assumed that she'd have them on. So that I'd call on her a little without the cheek pieces actually.
Fair play. Which way are you leaning, Johnny? Is Paul right? Are you still keen on Burning Victory?
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that Paul Townend has picked Stormy Island. There's obviously preview circuits. They've talked her up quite a bit, and she's the most solid. But I think it does make you a little bit lukewarm on Echoes in Rain and Burning Victory. But then it wouldn't be the first time at all that a Mullins second or third string has won the race. Her jumping was what everyone kind of crabbed her for a long time, and that's been so much more improved. I'm just trying to find the quote. I can't see it, but the recent kind of stable tours, Mullins, paraphrasing slightly, it was something like, if she gets jumping together, she could be a serious mare and kind of way better than these. So yeah, I would chance her, but at the end of the day, we've got probably 9 or 10 mares here that you could make a case for. I think they're all kind of 140 horses. I couldn't be bullish about any of them really. But yeah, Burning Victory would be the one I'll come down on.
Yeah,
I think they're the two that have the most potential for improvement.
Yeah, I when I did this last night, I was just looking in. Burning Victory's 8-1 now, and Queensbrook's 4-1, and it's just the wrong price. It's like people they see one horse closing another down, and they go too far in thinking that the form will be reversed. And she's double the price of Queen. Now Queensbrook's got obvious claims, like really obvious. Said she'd come on for the run. She was staying on well at the end, and I totally get that, and I really respect her. But Burning Victory's now double that price, and it couples with the fact that Paul Townend isn't on her. I think those two things have combined, so that 8-1 for Burning Victory is just bigger than it should be. Whether that's the right price and the other two are just too short is the other side of that argument, but I just think that happens all the time. Like it was like with Manella Crooner before injured was, I think, the worst favourite of the festival because people have just gone too far, assuming that form would be reversed and just getting a little bit too carried away with it, in my opinion. Now, I love. No, I don't love. That's way too strong. I like Stormy Island and Burning Victory is the two. I think 5 places, 11-2, and either 8-1 or 13-2, 5 places, or 8-1, 4 places Burning Victory, or Stormy Island, 5 places, 11-2. I think she'll be in the first 5. I'd be taking on Tell Me Something Girl that I don't think is a strong favourite. She seems to divide a lot of people. Some people think she's Banker of the Week, or because of the price, she's a great value favourite. I'd definitely be taking her on. The only way I would and have backed her is the double with Honeysuckle. I think just because they're owned by the same owner makes absolutely no difference. But we all know we love an owner's double, don't we? Don't we, Paul? So
yes, we do. So this is the race where I would normally go and visit a friend in some box somewhere and just pretend it's not taking place. And so I really don't have much of an idea, except I would say everybody who I've listened to or didn't want to listen to or has been in earshot of the last few days have done nothing but talk about how keen Elliot is on Queensbrook. So I keep hearing that. I probably wanted to have a bet in the race, but just to pass that on for what it's worth.
Yeah, the market probably the reason the market's gone that way probably backs that up. I suppose that's probably gotten around. It's like the reason that Burning Victory's twice the price doesn't factor in how strong the vibes are around Queensbrook and stuff. It's just at those prices. If I was starting now, I think I'd struggle with the form to back the one that's half the price over the one that beats it. But there we go. Okay, perfect. So on to the Boodles now. We haven't spoken about this before, but because this is going out on the forum, I don't think anyone on there won't know the case for Gaelic Warrior already, so I don't think we need to repeat that. It's just going to be great to be part of the story for anyone that's on it. Most people are on at bigger prices, aren't they? So let's hope he wins. So if you're going to tip that up, keep it very, very short. But has anyone got anything else in the race that they like? Because I've got one at 50 to 1 that I think is a little bit overlooked.
I think you need to go if you got 50 to 1.
Keep going.
It is. It's one I've liked for quite a while, and it's just kept getting bigger and bigger. And it's Dr. Churchill. Now he beat the well-fancied Champion Green earlier in the season. Champion Green's waited to reverse that form with him, but Champion Green's sort of 12 to 1 now, and Dr. Churchill's out to 50 to 1, 6 places. And I started cherry picking the stats, and obviously Gordon Elliott's the starting point in most handicaps, but he's won 3 of the last 9, loads of places and things. And one of the stats was that no horse since 2014 has had headgear on, and for Gordon Elliott, the Tide Turns, Ebasari and Britska have all got first time headgear. So if I was cherry picking, I'd strike a line through those and think, well, one of Gordon's has got to win. And I think 50 to 1 for Dr. Churchill is a bit of it's just a lot bigger than I thought it would be. And Jordan Gainford's dropped up again, taking the £3 off. I like him. He'll have already had a winner on the day with Fleur, or had a good run. So I just, 50 to 1 is just a massive price about a horse for Gordon Elliott in a handicap, especially this handicap. There's only one horse bigger, which is Sky Cutter, and then one of the reserves is 66 to 1. So the outsider of the field for Gordon Elliott, a horse that ties in with, although he is worse off with the well-fancied Champion Green, I just think that's too big a price. I'm just surprised he is as big as he is.
And the only thing I would add is this one at 33 to 1. I'm sort of interested in Bell X1. Obviously, he moved now to Nichols after his first 3 runs. Very green, first took twice, won this next time, jumped much better, and won, I think, relatively cosily. I think some form lines, I think, put him ahead of a few of those in this race, which are shorter prices. 33 to 1, just as a each way bet. That's all I'm saying. I'm certainly not taking on Gaelic Warrior, but just interesting first time out, first time blinkers as well, which actually does help in this race typically, historically.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
go on. You go, John.
I quite like. Obviously, you mentioned him, Champion Green. I do like the 50 to 1 shout there. Actually, I probably will add that myself in a minute. I think it's a little dangerous with these horses to kind of always think they're plotting and they're always holding something back. Certainly, kind of a JP horse. But I think the first few runs of Champion Green just scream that. Maybe that's just a biased view. That Dr. Churchill run, just you kind of came away from it just thinking they're holding him back here. This has got Boodles written all over it. Connections have done well in the past here. I know, Kev, you're a fanboy of Joseph O'Brien. He's a good trainer to have, and I think he snuck out. Actually, a little concerned whether we'd get him when he first got the 125 rating, but yeah, obviously no issue in the end. And yeah, another good. I assume Mark Walsh would have been on him, but I guess Brazil was equally as was very impressive last time. But Rachel Blackmore on board, no issue there.
That's a massive. Yeah. That's a good random jockey to come in, isn't it?
I was not expecting. I assumed it would be JJ Slevin. I think he's on C sessions. So yeah, very pleased with Rachel Blackmore.
JJ Slevin's on the other Joseph one, Prairie Dancer.
Oh yeah, sorry, I've heard C sessions, but yeah,
that's the other JJ Doodah Burke. I think. I'll check. Hold on.
Yeah, it's Jonathan Burke, isn't it, on C Sessions?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like Champion Green as an alternative. He's the highest rated off the flat of all of these, and that stat is quite a strong stat for this race. The highest rated has done very well over the years, but they don't win. They don't beat horses that are 2 stone well in, of course. So that doesn't make a blind bit of difference. There are a couple more of the Elliott horses a couple of different Elliott horses that I was interested in. Episari was blatantly being messed around with last time, and Davy Russell stuck with that horse all the way through.
That's his only ride of the day.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Unreal. Unreal.
You'd have been trying to make use of him if you were a smaller yard, wouldn't you? But anyway, so I think Episari potentially is ahead of his mark, but possibly not ahead enough. But he's the sort that I think will place. The one that I think's probably been ignored and been drifting all day today is Britska. He's had the wind up. They've waited for the wind up for this race. They put the tongue ties going on, and so are the blinkers. Everything going on this horse. And I think the reason that people have switched off it is because people will be thinking Robbie Power's probably 4th or 5th choice jockey here for Gordon Elliott, but Robbie Power has rode Dufflecoat for the owner as well. So I think there's a tie-in with the owner there. So I think he's probably another one that's potentially well ahead of his mark, but I wouldn't be going overboard with anything. The highest rated off the flat for the UK horses is Too Friendly of Dan Skelton's. And I do know that they think he is useful. So he's not there to make up numbers. So I can tell you that. He will definitely benefit from the quicker ground on Tuesday, and he will definitely benefit for quicker pace. He's a very keen going kind of horse. So this kind of race will see improvement. So I'd just put him out there as probably what I think is going to be the best of the Brits.
Excellent. Are we going to be playing the forecasts in this? Last year I played the forecasts in this race and just picked every single Irish runner bar the actual winner.
So
I would have, just ignored him.
Yeah, Gary Moore wins, so it's not one to bother playing with, I don't think.
No, true. Okay, brill. So on to the last race of the day. 40 minutes so far. So if we can get this done in 5, we're good. National Hunt Chase. I will kick us off. I've gone right off Statler, and Run Wild Certainty is an absolute Fred. Definitely going to win. I've gone Vanillier's gone way too short. Like he's done nothing different from when he was double figures, and now he's 3rd favourite at 4-1, 5-1. Absolutely right, because they've got the jockey on, but there's absolutely no juice in the price. Run Wild Fred's gonna win. It's happening. Bet of the day, easy.
Yeah, agreed. Never been keen on Statler. He's not a horse that I've taken to. He's certainly improved this season for a fence, but he's just a horse that I don't think he's a genuine full-on. I don't see him as being a future grade 1, grade 2 horse in open company. Vanillier, you can see why improvement comes. Just look at what Gavin Conrod does every year. But I just don't think he jumps well enough. That's the challenge with Vanillier. So as good as he was in the Albert Bartlett last year, it doesn't mean it's going to translate directly to this race. I think he'll run a decent race, but it'll be one mistake too many that does for him. So Run Wild Fred, I agree. Let's call him Run Wild Certainty. I like the sound of that because I'm very deep into him. And the value is on the ropes. I can't believe that he's out at double figures in a 7-runner race. 10-1 is a big price for him.
It's only 2 places. You can get 8-1, 3 places.
He'll love the ground, won't he? He'll absolutely love the ground. I think he'll improve for it. And I think he's been a bit forgotten, actually. He's 6th favourite of 7. I'd have him 2nd, 3rd favourite.
Fair play.
I don't understand the betting here in as much as if one horse should be odds on here, it should be Run Wild Fred. 2nd in an Irish National, winner of the Troy Town, proven goes on the ground to get the distance. I'm not a Statler fan. Vanillier, if he didn't know it, had won the Albert Bartlett. I agree about his jumping. Just form is just not there this year. I don't see anything else. I think Wild Fred is a start.
Yeah, Jamie Codd on board as well. It's the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah, I need to start laying some stuff off Brayside because I got a little bit too carried away when that was the rumour. I think Brayside's my second biggest winner, and I reckon he's the 6th likeliest winner of the race now.
I think you and everyone did. I did the same. Everyone just jumped on. But yeah, Run Wild Fred. You can still get 9-4, which is bonkers. Ticks every single box. Gordon Elliott, second season chaser. Jamie Codd on board. Highest rated, has won serious trials, stay in handicap chases. Just you can't pick a fault in him. Better the day, just unbelievable.
9-4. So, as you've just said, Johnny, is he actually your bet of the day? Bet of the Tuesday? If you had to put one, give me one shorty and one each way bet.
I'll class him as a shorty because he is kind of a short.
Because he's short, yeah.
Short price.
Good.
And then as each way, I'll go for Fluair. I think you can still get 8-1, can you?
Yeah, it'd be 8-1, 10-1.
Yeah, in the ultimate.
You can get 10-1, 6 places. And 9-4 Run Wild Fred. My win bet would be Run Wild Certainty, 9-4. I think that's a cracking bet. And each way I would go for, I think 20-1, 7 places, Vintage Clouds. There's just not 7 better horses than him to run around that course and distance. So he's mine. Paul? Or Paul?
Run Wild Fred for the bet of the day, and then Joko Rock for the each way bet.
Win double, Gaelic Warrior and Run Wild Fred. And the best priced horse of all, for obvious reasons, is Tea Clipper.
Superb. Okay.
I'll tell you what, it's a good job the Ultimate playing so many places because we've tipped 4 each way shots in that.
10. I'm gonna go 1 to 10. It's almost today. Genuinely, this is so embarrassing, but genuinely, I actually put in and tried to work out, see if I could do the book covering the entire field, just to see whether it was doable, and I haven't decided yet. But still. Unbelievable stuff. Right, okay, perfect. Let's end day 1 here. Thanks for listening, chumps, and we'll see you for day 2 in a moment.